money.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of demanding a lot of money, Jordan Love is probably going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL when he eventually signs his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, A, he deserves it, and B, does he get it?
Well, I think he deserves it because of the position he plays. Unfortunately, we live in the sports universe. We live in a place where quarterbacks are seen differently, and I think because of his age, because of the situation that he's in, yeah, he will be the highest paid quarterback. Unfortunately for Packer fans, that does put a huge time limit on our success.
Right.
Because we have all of these younger players who are now either going to also want to get paid and go to another team, or we're just going to have to keep drafting these younger guys because we're going to be allowed. Jordan Love is going to be paid more than $50 million a year. I'm completely resigned to that. It's going to happen. He's not going to get Dak Prescott money because he's not going to be an unrestricted free agent. But I think we have to account for that. And the only way to do that is to do what, you and I were talking about off air, is have 12 draft picks a year.
Right.
If you can have 12 draft picks, and let's just say 4 of them turn into solid starters, in a given year, you can then afford to pay your quarterback that kind of money. The problem is that you have to hit on enough of those.
Right.
But I do think he's going to get it. I do think that based on the position, I do think he deserves it. I would have liked him to have one more year under his belt. I was, screaming to all high heaven that they could have gotten more for Aaron Rodgers if they would have traded him after the second MVP. But also from a business standpoint, I know how you really can't do that. It's bad juju to trade, the reigning MVP. But, we got what we did for him. And I think that now we're in a position where we have to pay Love, and we're just going to have to, and we're going to have to deal with it and make the best of it. But if we keep drafting like we do, especially at the wide receiver position, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought the wide receiver position here, but just because let's just be honest, you have 3 really, really good receivers, and none of them really kind of separate themselves one from the other. So that honestly might be a blessing in disguise, because therefore Watson, Dobbs, and Reed all might warrant a little bit less money to stay on the team. So you do have room to pay Jordan Love here. But
the thing I like real quick about the wide receivers, the thing I like too is you have Dobbs, Watson, Reed. None of them play the same style.
Right.
Which I think is great when you're an offense and you have to, and the defense is trying to scheme against you, because you can't have, a CeeDee Lamb where you're going to put your number one shutdown corner on him and then hope for the best from the other team. You have to play zone against the Packers. You really don't have a choice. And that's going to be really great when you're a play action type team and you have a running back like Josh Jacobs who can run the ball up the middle or run it off to the side or go out for that dump pass like they do with CMC a lot. So I really think that what they're doing with this is they're putting the Packers are in a position where you're not going to see a wide receiver with 110 receptions and 1,800 yards. You're going to see 3 guys all hovering around 1,000 and all hovering around that 75, 80 catches in the season. And I think that's what we want.
And it's a really good thing because you can pay them less, because obviously they're paid off of stats, right?
Yeah.
But guys, we are talking with the Green Bay Greg from Twist. Greg, always thank you for your time as always. But right now, I got a gun to your head.
And I'm not even the president.
Your Green Bay Packers are on the clock. How many wins are they getting this season, and how far do you expect them to go in the playoffs if they make the playoffs?
I expect. Okay, so last year when you asked me the exact same question, I was a lot more humble because we have a new quarterback come in, and I think that BC at the time was a little off put because I wasn't as rampant of a fan as I was.
Yeah.
This year's different. I think that the floor for us is 12-5. I think that we can. I think that if we go 14-3, I think that would be the ceiling. I would be disappointed if we're not in the NFC Championship game, and I would totally. It would not be a shock to me if we could make it to the Super Bowl.
So is a 12-5 record winning the North?
12-5 win the North would be my floor. I think that should be. If we don't do that, if we go 11-6, I'd be disappointed. Even if we win the North. If we go 12-5, I think that should be a lock. I think that the Lions are maybe going to, they're still going to be good. I think that they're going to come down a notch. Maybe don't think highly of the Vikings this year. I think they're a couple years away. And I hate to say this, but being a Packer fan that grew up in Milwaukee, where the Bears were our rival, I'm still waiting for them to have a quarterback. And I don't care who you draft, where you draft him. I got to believe it to see it, or see it to believe it. I'm sorry, but I don't believe it yet.
Yeah, so 12 wins, floor, 14 win ceiling. That to me is a great season. Potentially coach of the year for your boy out there. No Matt Everflus, coach of the year. Combsy, get that crap out of here. Green Bay Greg. Thank you for always, man. But before I let you go, plug your guys' show.
Twist. Go to we're twistsportstalk.com. We're streaming on all the streaming services. We go live on Facebook, but then we'll put it on YouTube. We'll put it on, all Spotify, all those other guys. But yeah, we do it once every month outside the season. Once we get into the football season, we do it more often. We're going live Saturday mornings, usually around 8:30, 9 o'clock is when we go on. But come check it out, interact with us, and we'll answer all your questions. Message the show, give us a topic to talk about, and watch three boneheads argue with each other about something stupid, because that's all we do.